Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with Disaster.
On a
Uh,
snowy November morning.
yeah, talk about change of seasons. Felt like literally overnight. I think it was like the day before I was picking up leaves outside and then got it done just in time because, I wasn't expecting. I think we got the snow totals in. We got 18 inches in Hamburg.
Here in Hamburg, we got 14 inches. I believe Orchard Park got 14. Alma got 8 or 9.
Yeah,
Yeah, it came down on us here in the
yeah.
South Towns.
What normally is like a half-hour drive home from work yesterday, it took me about an hour. About an hour. I even just taking the back roads, I always try to check like the live traffic, and you can kind of tell it was almost red everywhere. The throughway, along with all the local roads like Southwestern and so on and so forth. But speaking of which, during the holiday times, obviously we want to take the proper steps to winterize our home. So that's kind of we're gonna make that our focus this morning because I think a lot of people don't really take it as seriously as they should.
Right. I
Um,
think a lot of people don't prepare enough in advance of these storms,
yeah,
to get themselves ready.
yeah,
Something like this basically came out of nowhere. We weren't expecting it
no,
quite this heavy, quite this far north.
yeah,
So I bet you a lot of people weren't quite as prepared as they should have been.
no. And it's one thing because a lot of your time is going to be spent like snow plowing and stuff like that. So you want to have all these steps in place before it's too late and you have to put your efforts other elsewhere. Cool. So I'm going to just jump right into it. First thing I want to talk about, a lot of people during the fall time, you want to take the proper steps to clean your gutters.
Absolutely.
You don't want any blockages in there
Okay.
because during the wintertime you're going to have ice and water and all this other stuff in there, so you want everything to be able to evenly flow throughout the gutter system. um just get a, depending on how high your gutters are, I would say just, jump up there on a step ladder if you're physically able to do so, and you can just typically just reach your hand right in there and pretty
Yeah.
much just pull everything out that you need to.
Those leaves get wet, they start to break down and decompose, and they start
Yeah,
to clog up the outflows,
yeah,
and then it freezes.
yeah,
And then on top of that, you're dealing with your gutters falling off, you're
yeah,
dealing with the icicles. I mean, those
yeah.
things can be deadly themselves.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want is your gutter system falling off in the middle of 20 degrees. Plus, it would probably be pretty loud, I would think, if you heard that crash. So yeah, definitely clean your gutters, make that a priority. A lot of people don't realize the misinterpretation is you lose the majority of your heat through your attic.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that's just a light draft that you got coming through there, even if you don't have like, let's say a leak per se, even just a small draft could just offset the whole uh just point of what you're trying to do. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want pipes freezing, things like that too. So always just make sure that everything's sealed off. If you have to go up there with a caulk gun and go through and just make sure there's no you can pretty much probably feel it too. If you had a windy day, you could feel where the drafts are coming through in your attic. I would
Oh,
think you
absolutely. I've spent
feel
a
it.
lot of time up in attics. In the summer it gets very, very hot. You can feel those drafts. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of new homes have their HVAC systems built into the attic itself.
Oh, that's smart.
So when
Yeah.
you're dealing with leaks and drafts and
Yeah.
like that, you're going to affect your whole HVAC system.
Did not know that. That's actually much smarter. They should have been doing that for years.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Uh, Not a lot of the newer homes these days have like the old fashioned furnace, like chimney. A lot of them have like the electric furnace ones now, like that style. But if you do have an older home, make sure your chimney is free of all blockages. Even hire a chimney sweeper just to come through to clear it. Because you don't want any obstructions in there. Obviously, when let's say you have like a wood burning stove or so on and so forth, you want everything to be able to clear properly.
Yep. Get that creosote built up in there.
Yeah, and then we're talking much bigger issue if you just don't take the proper steps, and it probably would. I mean, depending on the severity, it can't be too expensive to have your chimney cleaned.
No,
Um,
from what I understand, it's not super bad, especially if you keep up on it.
yeah, yeah, but if you let it go for 10 years or so or something crazy, it might be a little different story. So, but yeah, check that down on your list as well. Um, Weatherproofing your windows and doors. That's another huge one, especially with a lot of these new builds. I feel like the homes don't have like the insulation like they used to. I mean, yes, they're insulated, but I feel like, even in newer builds, you can hear what's going on in other rooms pretty easily as opposed to like back in the day where homes were kind of built more soundly and things like that. So with that being said, you're going to get those drafts. Also, you can also potentially get those in your living room. So weather stripping and going through and making sure that you're not having any creaks in any windows, things like that.
Especially around this time of year, I find that people deal with a lot of, you get this heavy snow, this wind, it blows it up against the side of the house, and then it freezes.
Yeah.
Then we warm up and it melts.
Yep.
And then that water starts to seep in where these little cracks and crevices are around doors and windows.
Yeah.
Then it freezes again.
Yeah.
And it melts and it freezes, it melts, and it starts to expand and contract your walls. Then you start dealing with more leakage coming in. Then you start seeing things like the mold building up around your walls.
Yeah. And no, that's a very good point. And along with that too, a lot of those older windows too, the ones that are extremely heavy, you know what I mean? Like usually it's just one pane. But those tend to leak over the years. So you definitely want to keep up on those. So if you live in an older home, just something to kind of keep an eye on for you. This is probably right up there with the attic one. Protecting your pipes and making sure that they're insulated. And that's something could be as simple as if you got extremely cold weather moving in, something as simple as opening your cabinets for your restroom where you have some, your faucets are potentially exposed. Or if it's colder per se in your restroom, you could open up your cabinet doors to allow some warm air to kind of get in there to kind of bring it all up to room temperature.
And the old standby, keep your faucets at a trickle.
Yeah.
When you're freezing, when you see freezing temperatures coming overnight, keep at least one faucet at a light trickle just to keep that water flowing.
Really?
Far less chance of it freezing over if there's water moving through.
All right. I did not know that. That actually makes perfect sense though, because you're keeping that water flow going throughout the whole time.
Yep.
So smart. Yeah. Awesome. Covering a lot of good stuff here. This was really fun. I want to show you this one. I saw it on YouTube. It was interesting. It was just like a do-it-yourself home project that this guy did, where he builds like an A-frame around his exhaust vents for his furnaces. And I thought this would be it's very simple to do. If anybody's interested in doing this, I would highly recommend it because you're about to see here in a second. I'll show you right now. But I thought I'd share this with you guys. So let me pull it up right now. So, and that's something like, for example, remember, what was it, Snowvember when we got like 7 feet? I was going outside every few hours at the peak of it, and just shoveling, making sure that the exhaust vents are clear because a lot of people don't think about it and could have carbon monoxide poisoning from it.
Then it starts to back up into the home.
Yeah. So this is a cool idea. If you guys want to try it, check it out. I'm going to pull it up for you right now. Here we go. All right. Make this a little bigger. We don't want to look at Don anyways, right? No. All right, cool. So this is just a basic thing. I won't play the whole clip. Just 2 minutes for you. You can kind of check it out. Your dog could probably hang out in there too, stay warm a little bit. It's smart because the basic design is very straightforward.
Hey guys, I want to share with you a super easy tip that can save lives and also keep your heating system or your hot water tank from failing. You want to basically keep any snow from accumulating around sidewall vents, high efficiency furnaces, water heaters, things like that. If it's not venting through a chimney, it's going through a sidewall, and it's low like this, I use these A-frame snow diverters.
Because this won't always
snow drifts can build up overnight. You get 2 or 3 feet overnight sometimes, and you can cause a problem with either carbon monoxide or the system will just shut down and you wake up to a cold house. So when these vents become blocks, it's problematic, and a lot of folks shovel them out. Well, I put this snow diverter on like this. The snow goes down on either side of it, builds up around it, but not to the vent, it blocks it. And then the next day, when you go out to do your snow blowing, I use this snow blower path up to it, shovel it out, and it's good to go. But it doesn't shut off overnight. It's protected. And most of the time, because of the A-frame, the snow goes on either side, the heat from the exhaust melts anything in front of it. So I very rarely have to shovel, almost never have to shovel anything out from inside the A-frame. I usually just snow blow to it for access. To make the A-frame, it's just 1/2 inch plywood. I got some
Thank you for
strap
checking
hinges,
that
some
out.
stainless steel screws and nuts. I put some zinc coating on the hinges to give it extra.
All right, sweet. Cool. All right. I think we should jump into the wheel of names and see who are this afternoon.
Spin that big wheel.
We're gonna have to deliver it by drone though, because we're not gonna be able to be on the roads this afternoon. No.
Get out the sled dogs and
Yeah, we got enough dogs here to probably set all that up. All right, cool. All right, spinning the wheel.
it is
410. That is going to be Maria Wilson from the Evans Agency. Maria, thank you, or congratulations for winning. If you're watching, I will drop off a double prize. And if you are not, I will still deliver you a prize in person. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Be safe on the roads. Don't kill anybody. Don't run anybody over.
slow and steady. Rather be a few minutes late than end up in the house.
Yeah. Definitely a good thing to live by. So, thank you everybody for watching. Don, thanks for being on the show again this morning.
Make sure you check your exhaust vents, everybody. If you notice any funny smells, give us a call and send somebody out. Look into your ducts.
Yeah. And also for larger businesses, we don't mention it very often, but we do a lot of duct cleaning too.
Yes.
So, something to consider in the future.
Clean. So. Keep the stuff out of there so you get the good airflow this winter. We don't want any carbon dioxide backing up in anybody's apartments or homes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week at 10:10.
Bye, everybody.